Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
Oh my God, I'm alone. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Leave the hose out of it. Hold it, not that part.
That is like that. He said, Ibn said something very prolific.
He said, leave the hose out of it.
About hose. But a lot of time when we're calling, specifically, us as black men, when we're calling like women hoes, there's a lot of resentment there. There's a lot of insecurity there that has not been tackled or properly profiled.
I wonder if women, because I feel like girls got each other's back more than men do.
That's true.
What are some things that you are working on that could be a hindrance to why we ain't gonna work out?
It's deeper into the back seat. Like as he's just talking, and he's just talking about how much he hates black women, and I'm just like, yo.
It's Free Lunch Season 3 with a special thanks to our sponsors, Bullseye-LLC.com, Ready, Aim, Bullseye, where safety is our ammo, Gen1LLC.info, Generation 1 Logistics, taking pride in putting our carriers first and helping owner-operators get premium loads, stay organized, and increase profit, and ScarletOakCandleCo.com, the self-care experts. It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free, with another episode of Free Lunch. And I have, again, Q here, my resident neighbor. Usually he's been going unseen for the recent weeks. I haven't seen you much. I don't know what's that about, if you're like intentionally ducking me.
It's definitely on purpose.
I think so.
It's definitely on purpose. Like if I see you going through the front door, I'm definitely going in the back.
Which I've actually, all jokes aside, I've actually watched you do when I was pulling up the other day. I watched you come out of the alley like a creep, like who doesn't live here. And I'm like, who uses the back door like that? This guy.
Because it's what's most convenient. Close to the back door, why go all the way around to go up the
How
front
are you
door?
closer to the back door?
When you
Explain
park,
that.
You know how our parking is set up.
I do know how you park.
You can park closer to the back entrance.
You're not closer to that back door or the front door. No matter where you park alongside that little area of sidewalk,
Are you serious right now?
You're equally the same distance, bro.
That's not
it's
true.
Totally all in your head.
That is not true.
It's in your head.
That's not true.
In any way.
From the sidewalk to the back door is from the sidewalk to the end of the sidewalk to get to the entrance to the front door. You gotta think about this,
You're
man.
totally hijacking the intro right now. But we're gonna put a pin in it. I want to be able to welcome the actual guest here today on the show. Ibn. Let's give it up. Is it Ibn? Ibn, right?
Yep, Ibn. Yep.
Ibn. Shout out to Ibn for coming through. So I invited Q to come through today again. And Q's like, oh, you know what? I got my boy Ibn. He wants to, he's down to come too. And I'm like, cool. So I don't really know who Ibn is. Any of you listeners out there, if you've ever been familiar with Ibn and, whatever your experience may have been negative in any way, and you're like, how dare I bring him on my show? It's because I don't know. I don't know who this person is.
I don't even know him.
Ibn could be a really, really bad dude who would not otherwise be invited on the show. But I don't know. So we're going to find out who Ibn actually is. I would like to think Q hangs out with, he keeps very good company. So...
the crazy thing, I just met him yesterday.
Oh,
just met him yesterday. So we're gonna see how this.
We're definitely gonna see how this goes. So, I already know who Q is. Ibn, who are you?
My name is Ibn Orator. I am an avant-garde, introspective hip hop artist from New Haven, CT.
An avant-garde,
introspective hip hop artist.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to pride myself in knowing big words. I may have just forgotten the avant-garde one. Break that down for me.
Avant-garde is basically best way I could describe.
Hold on, what did you just say?
I said this is a surprise. He doesn't know what the word means.
Avant-garde. No.
It's a very broad concept, but pretty much if you ever seen a cover of, let's just imagine a cover of a magazine with like a horse on it, a trampoline, and Mother Teresa on the side drinking coffee, and some trees in the background, and then maybe Donald Trump and a flag. That's like avant-garde art. There's a lot going on. It's very layered.
Wow.
Okay. There's a lot to interpret.
Yes.
There's a lot to unmask, unlayer, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
That's like one shade of avant-garde.
Okay.
Stuff. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sounds like unpredictable to me.
Now, you said when you were giving your name, your last name is Orator?
Yeah, it's just my full stage name.
Oh.
Ibn Orator.
Oh, Ibn Orator.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I just call, some people
Okay.
ask me like, what's my name? I just say Ibn for short.
Okay. No, I didn't know if Orator was like your legit last name. I was like, dude, that's fire.
No, right? Right.
Orator.
Orator.
You were
From where does this
destined to
lineage-
speak.
Where does
Never
this
seen, I've
lineage?
never heard this name before. Orator.
I must find the lineage.
That's almost as good as king.
Who was the first orator? That's dope. Okay, so I mean, how long have you been doing hip hop?
I've been doing hip hop since 2007, but I think seriously since 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How do you define seriously?
Seriously as in that I made it like an active decision versus just like, playing around with it on the fly.
Okay.
That's what I define as like seriously.
Makes sense. And so, how did you end up bumping into this guy yesterday? What was that like?
I was about to say something stupid, but I forgot. You only allow certain words.
Hold on, time out. What do you mean I only allow certain words? I tell Ibn before the show, we don't allow swearing.
No, I know. That's why I was about to swear.
Hold on, time out. No, you're going to let me finish this, Ibn. I tell him we don't allow swearing. And then his remark right now is, you only allow certain words. Hold up. I just afforded you every other word in the entire English language, but that's only certain words.
I was about to say something. I was about to say
10
something
words
ignorant.
you can't say as opposed to the billions.
Yo.
I was about to say something ignorant, but I was just like, no, I forgot.
No, he's probably about to call
And this
me
is the
a-
avant-garde descriptor here. Okay.
No, I met
How would
Q.
you put it? How would you reword what you were about to say?
Yeah, I met Q through Ibrahim. You had Ibrahim on here one time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Ibrahim Cheek.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like my brother.
Yes.
From another mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, was that like you met him through him
Yeah.
yesterday while they were taking the trash out
No,
together?
for
or-
a few years now.
Few years ago,
Oh,
a couple years, a few years
okay.
ago.
All right.
I've been able to have a few conversations with him,
Okay.
pick his brain.
So what's Eve doing right now? How come Eve didn't come through?
He's getting a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, like a satellite haircut, or he actually went to the barbershop?
Satellite haircut.
What's a satellite?
Nice. So he's got they actually came to him,
What's
like-
a satellite?
No, it's he went to the barbershop.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what a satellite
came
haircut
Ooh.
is.
What's a satellite?
All right, we're 1-1. Avant-garde, satellite. All right.
Oh, we keep a score.
We keep a
1-1. I'm definitely keeping a score in my head. How many words they can say without the other one knowing what it is.
Listen, so I have some questions.
I like that.
Look at that, right?
Man, this
Right?
Yo, can I which one?
I think that's the clap.
Yes,
That's
there
the
we
clap.
go. Can I get a clap? This guy,
Yes,
he got his game show host
I got
cards.
my Oprah cards. These are the Oprah cards. This is what any real serious.
I'm getting Steve Harvey vibes right now.
Anyways, all right. No, but seriously. So while I was like trolling Facebook today, I came across somebody's. Well, I mean, you could say post, but it was more like, they were ranting. They were like live or whatever.
That's what you love about Facebook most.
You love it, man.
They
Like,
just rant so much
which
on
is why
Facebook.
it really like it I'm so confused by people who have whether it's like a podcast or other shows and they're like feel like they're running out of content. I'm like, dude, all you gotta do is go on
on
social
Facebook one
media,
time.
bro. It doesn't even have to be like current events, just whatever people are like ranting about online.
Yeah.
So actually, no. The first thing I'll go with actually is one of my posts earlier. Right, was which driver are you? Okay, so I have this experience driving around New Haven where the car in front of me, this is like the red light experience. Okay,
Okay.
the red traffic light
Okay.
phenomenon. Okay, the person in front of me is definitely blowing the red light as it's turning yellow to red. I'm watching that occur with the car in front of me. So when I take the red light, it's like a stone cold Steve Austin red light. Okay? And then in my rear view, I see the car behind me still follow through the so
That's excessive.
that's like the blood of Christ red light at that point. Okay.
Right.
So I pose the question: which driver are you? Are you car number one? I'm just catching it as it's going yellow to red. Like, I still feel kind of morally at peace because it's like it's debatable.
Right,
Like,
right.
my vehicle was under the light by the time it turned red. Or are you me? You know, it's like, but it's like, dude, I was maybe going too fast to stop now. Like, but it was definitely red when you ran it. Or are you the guy behind me? Are you car number 1, 2, or 3? What would you say?
I'm 2 for sure.
You're 2
I'm
for sure?
2 for sure. I'm 2 for sure. I can't be 3 is too dangerous because I seen somebody at our light blow through the red and boom and just get hit.
Oh, wow.
Literally
You witnessed that?
it. I witnessed it.
Oh.
I literally, because as I was like coming in the house or leaving, they flew past me. You know how small our street is. I'm looking at
it was on our street?
It was on our street.
Don't tell me it was that corner house that's like had to repair its front porch like 3 times.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I witnessed the last one. And he just,
man.
I'm like, I hope this light ain't red. Lo and behold, light was red. Boom.
Gosh.
But to answer your question, I'm number 2. So like, I'm number 2 all the time, I would say, just because like, if the car is going fast enough, and, you know, they're hitting that corner where I can just squeeze in right behind them. Like, all right, we both catching it.
Yeah,
it's like a train, you know. If we taking a left, you know, I ain't trying to get caught at the left. You know, I'm number 2.
Okay.
Personally.
Evan.
I've never driven before. I mean, I've driven a few times just as practice, but I would like to say that I'm probably a blend between number 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Play it safe.
Depending on the day that you catch me.
So you're not a frequent driver?
No.
Okay. Is that like intentionally? Like, you know, you have maybe, I don't know, saving the ozone type of like idea? I don't know.
No, just like I'm just super late
from
to
New York.
A lot of things.
Take the subway a lot, or you know. I don't know.
I mean, grow up in New Haven. You know, everywhere that I needed to go at the time was always in New Haven.
And on the bus.
You know, and on the bus. You know what I mean?
That's how I grew up.
And then if I go to New York, you know, I just take the train.
Oddly,
you know,
because growing up in New Haven, I took the city bus so much. When I actually first got my driver's license, everywhere I went was the bus route direction. It was the bus route way.
I can see me doing that.
And like people were like, "Dude, you know there's like a faster way." I'm like, "Dude, I only know how to get here by the bus.
That's
the way the bus goes."
That's the thing about learning how to drive. Like you start driving, you start taking the bus route. You don't know which way is the one way, which one. You're just like, oh,
yeah. So, Ibn, it begs due to your, you know, not frequent driving, it makes me think of another question. So what is your most frequently used means of transportation? Are you like a frequent Uber flyer? Are you skateboard, city bus?
It's been anywhere between Ubers, bikes, and city bus and trains, and then rides.
I used to be an Uber driver for like 6 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How's that going?
That's a pretty
No, I
job.
don't do it anymore.
Gotcha,
like when the pandemic hit, I was all set.
Mm.
Nah.
Gotcha.
What's been like? You got any like really cool or crazy Uber like driver stories? Like,
I do.
Yeah?
I really do.
what's like the craziest thing you've seen go down? Like, and you've never been a driver.
No, but I have.
But just as a passenger, what's been like
yeah.
something really crazy that you've seen? Like,
not necessarily what I've seen, but conversation I had
with the driver.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna like
as much as you can, you know.
Yeah.
Edit out whatever.
So somehow I got into this conversation with this driver because I talk to everybody. I like there's a reason why my name is my Orator.
Yep.
You know, I really talk to a great deal of people, no matter what jack of all, you know, no matter where you're from. And we just got to talk. I was on my way to work, and somehow we got into the question. I think I remember asking him, I was like, so like, what made you want to go to the military? And he was like, well, you know, my mom was a self-hating bee. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Oh, we going right here.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
All right. So it's turning real quick.
This escalated pretty quickly.
All right. This is 52-year-old black man. And I was just listening to him. He's like, yeah, you know, all these black women in the neighborhood taking up all the businesses, you know what I mean? Talking about some, you know, oh, I got my own business. B, shut the F up. You know what I mean? And as I was listening to this, I was like, oh, this is literally a Kevin Hart like stand-up special waiting to happen.
Am I being punked right now?
Yo, I was just like, yo, what's good? So you just I just keep sinking deeper and deeper into the chair. You know, it's deeper into the back seat. Like as he's just talking, and he's just talking about how much he hates black women, and I'm just like, yo.
And this is a black man.
Yeah, it's a black man. And I was just taken back. You know how you try to like ease in with like a suggestion for someone that's hostile. I was just like, oh well, you know, well, I like to think of myself as someone who's a well-read person, and you know,
was this like a white guy or black guy?
This is a black dude.
Wow.
And I was saying to him, I was like,
amazing.
I was just saying to him, I was just like, yeah, you know, I feel like some of the things that you said maybe classified as sweeping statements, and I was like, you know, if you're open to it, I'd be more than happy to suggest some books to you that I think could help, you know, expand your perspective.
I can see how this is going.
Wow. Obviously that didn't work. He was just like, oh man, well, ain't no thing. I mean, you know, the truth is the truth. It is what it is. And I'm just like, okay,
wow.
There's nothing I can do to say anything. I'm just gonna be quiet now.
Wow.
Wait till I get to work.
But I've had to kick people out of my car.
I believe it.
That's only happened once, but legit, dude, a whole domestic.
They were fighting in the back. Guy and girl.
Drunk boyfriend, sober girlfriend, trying to get him a ride home out of her house. Like, you're drunk, you need to go home. So she orders the Uber.
Right.
Not him. And she's trying to force him into my Uber. And that's like against the rules. Like, you can't I can't keep someone in my vehicle that doesn't want to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or neither would I want to.
Right.
Right. And so she's like, can you just take him home? He needs to go home. He's drunk. And I'm like, okay, yeah, man, but you can't force him to stay in the vehicle. And so she gets him in the vehicle, shuts my door, and then I go to put the car in drive, and he goes out my other door, out the other side, while I'm moving. And I'm like, bro, I put the car in drive. I'm like, you got to,
bruh.
He's got to get out. He's got to, like, I can't do this. Nah.
I don't understand why anybody would want to do that anyways.
Nah.
That's terrible.
The liability is crazy.
Yeah, should have just told a friend to bring him home.
Crazy.
At that point.
I had somebody vomit in my backseat.
I was going to ask you if you ever had that.
What? And this was early on. And from what I hear from like the Uber drivers going around now is like, it's pretty like, you know, sucky compensation if someone throws up in their backseat. But early on when I was Uber driving, like, dude, Uber charged them the customer's card well to pay you as a driver, like for that. So like somebody like threw up, and it was like not like nothing crazy. It was like probably like a, you know, $50 size amount, but like I took pictures of it because now I got to go offline. I have to turn off the app. I have to go and clean my. So I'm losing whatever money I you know, trips I could have been making. So I had to clean it up. I took pictures, send it to you know, through the Uber app to customer service. Dude, they paid me. They paid me $200. They charged the person card $200, man, for me to clean that up.
You could have got that detailed.
Dude, I'm like,
we'll get the whole car clean now.
Appreciate it. Because then you got to get the smell. Because even if you get the stain out, your car has vomit smell. Nah, man.
Your car is no longer serviceable.
Exactly. And now you cutting into my money.
You cutting into Uber's money.
In my pocket.
Cutting into my peace of mind too. You gotta smell some vomit in the back, you know.
On your way to
pretend
work.
like it's not there on your way to the next place.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. All right. So I got some well, Ibn, are you single?
yes.
Okay. So Ibn's single. But lately, some of the subject matters going through social media lately with the single females.
Interesting. Interesting.
You know, I would say equally probably both, single guys and gals, is what are the appropriate first date type of questions?
First date,
right? Now, I understand that there could be a small bit of nuance in approaching this because there's the dating that happens totally like casually with no actual like intent in mind at all.
Right.
Well, I mean, no other intent other than maybe, you know,
first date stuff.
You know, what you young kids are doing out,
what you
shacking.
You know what?
Out here. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, so let's bring some context, some purposeful context. Let's say This is in the context of you're dating with the intention of looking for someone to actually make your consistent, girlfriend, or, you're actually considering and, looking to hopefully one day find, a wife. Let's keep that context. Okay. So you're going on a date, you're dating.
So this is a real date.
Yeah, it's real date. You might be even dating several people, but the intention and mindset in which you're entering these dates is because you're looking for the one, who I'm going to make,
That's where I start twerking.
who you're making the steady girl. Okay.
Randomly.
Telling you, not get into the second date with that.
What would you say are 3 important questions you're asking that female on the first date? Give me one of the top 3. You can just give me one. I'll have even give me one. What's one question you want to ask on the first date?
One question that I know I want to ask.
And let's assume too, like maybe it was right, because usually if you go on a date with somebody, you've had some type of introduction to them, unless it's a totally blind date. But I'm ruling those out.
Let's say we know them a little bit.
Yeah, let's say it's a coworker. So maybe you only know work oriented things, right? So you could cancel out those type of questions, like where do you work? Like let's assume at least that. Or let's say, maybe it was a friend, mutual friend you guys had. And, maybe you started DMing each other on social media, and then so let's say basic things. You know what I mean? Like, I know, where you might work. And I would say that. Let's leave it at that. Let's say you at least know where they work. What's one of like the questions you gotta know on the first date?
I'm gonna defer to Ibn on this one.
Really? Wow. Because he's looking like he's equally struggling over there.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean,
what's one, like, you guys, seriously, guys, you can't think of one question that
I can think of a lot of questions, but you got the 3 questions.
No, that's why I said just give me one. I took the 3 out. Just give me one, because I need.
It's just for us personally, right?
Yeah, you personally. Like what's the thing that you personally need to know on a first date?
Yeah, spark my brain.
I have 2 questions.
Well, I said you could give me 3.
No,
so
you know what I mean.
If you got 2 loaded already, give me
these
2.
questions that I would ask for me. I would ask 1: are you a Trump supporter? Because if you tell me you're a Trump supporter, I'm just gonna get up. Woo! Have you paid a bill?
Have you
just walk away. Just walk away immediately. Wow. I'm just gonna be like, there's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You really, so if they're a Trump supporter, mind you, I'm anti-politics altogether. I'm not. I don't even follow. But being an anti-Trump supporter, in your mind, there is nothing about you past that point in your mind that could overwhelm them being a Trump supporter that would be appealing in your mind. And to each his own. I'm not, criticizing you again, because I'm not in politics at all either. So I don't have an opinion on the subject matter. But I'm interested. I'm curious about your response. That's all.
For me, it's not that there's nothing in my mind that can't overwhelm it, because I have a very vibrant mind.
So if something could overwhelm it, just that alone, if you even are saying now there's something that could overwhelm it, you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to discover what that thing could be.
Well, no, I was just about to say, it's not that it can't overwhelm it, it's just that I have the capacity to really take something really dark and just be like, oh, that's interesting. Why is it so dark? Okay, also, what made it dark? Is it the time of day? Is it the time of night?
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. I started asking questions. I know I have the capacity to do that, and I know I've sometimes had the capacity to do that without having like boundaries. But when I listen to what my body is trying to tell me.
So you're saying the way that your brain has the capacity, or your mind has the capacity to justify or understand a wide array of people, that sometimes could be to such an end that can ultimately harm yourself because you failed to keep a certain barrier.
Yeah. And because I know that about myself, because I know that, I was like, if somebody told me they were Trump supporter, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Because then I'd had to I'd also, in the midst of my mind, having that capacity, I had to tell my body to be like, hey, just so you know, I got this. And my body will be telling me, you absolutely do not want to be here.
Wow.
So
What I could appreciate about that, again, politics aside, again, I don't really engage in those debates or discussions. I think what I really appreciate that is, one, I didn't expect that as your explanation answer, but I think that's one I could respect.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, knowing yourself that well, that's what I respect about that. Is you know yourself that well, where you've been able to in the past reflect and see, or present day can see where for some people it's like kind-heartedness. Maybe it's not their a broad mind, but it's just that they could be really kind. So it could be a totally different thing. Maybe it's not who your political supports are, but something else entirely different. But because I'm really a kind-hearted person, I'm always gonna say yes. I'm not really comfortable with my nose, and because of that, because I'm always looking to make other people in my life comfortable, and without any regard of myself, I ultimately get into situations where I am harmed.
Yeah.
And so I think people have to respect that. Is that, what? It's not that I can't, understand your view, whatever it is, whether it's a religious one, a political one, but it's that because of whatever view or stance you have, and me just knowing me, where I am in my current life right now, that could ultimately domino effect and lead into areas where I become hurt and harmed in some way.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Do you know yourself that well, Q?
No. That one went over my head, actually.
It's all right. You'll have the episode when it posts to go back and chew on it some more.
Yeah, I will.
So what's the one question that the thing you gotta know on the first date?
See, when you phrase it like that, what's the one question? It's like...
Or one of the one questions. This is important. But you're making it so like, complicated, bro.
Because I ask questions and there are things that are important. So your relationship with your family. What's your relationship with your family like?
That's important. I agree. That's huge.
But it's also character. I want to know their character, like who they are as a person in terms of like how they work.
I don't think you get to know someone's character by simply asking yes and no questions. Or
exactly. That's why it's like.
So yeah, that wouldn't be amongst your questions.
That wouldn't be a question. Right.
You wouldn't ask a female, hey, so what's your character like? You see
exactly.
What I'm saying? You wouldn't ask that.
I would ask that. Sorry, that was impulse. I didn't mean it.
It's fine, but it's like the true answer would be something that actually lends itself to you by the person's actions. Maybe a collection of responses could be put together, and a character assessment could be drawn from that, but not just one question is going to be able to tell you. I don't think.
Okay, so
in its entirety, but
I think there are three questions.
I like the one that you started with.
Oh, your relationship with your family.
The relationship with your family, I think, is big.
Okay, so all right, let me remove myself from the situation and say questions that should be asked on the first date. I think that'd probably make more sense for me because I'd be able to kind of take my
rephrase it however you gotta rephrase it. Okay.
I think you definitely need to ask how that person is. If it's a person that you plan to be with and you want to court them, whatever, you got to ask them how they are with their money management, with their finances.
And you would ask that on the first date. These are first date things you would talk. Not that, again.
Yeah.
Teach his own. I want to know.
Absolutely. Even if they aren't good with their finances or money management, that's something you should know in advance.
Okay.
You gotta I feel like you should know who you're becoming involved with. So there's going to be surprises. There's going to be things that you don't know about them that's going to come up. So it's kind of like, let's get an establishment. What are some things that you are working on that could be a hindrance to why we ain't going to work out? Like, what are some things that you were dealing with that you know you were dealing with? What are some of your past relationships, reasons why you were breaking up? Because I learned.
So that's an actual question. That's how the question would come out of your mouth.
Yes,
just like that. What are some? Give it to me again. I want to really break this down.
What are some things that you've learned about yourself in past relationships?
This is a first date question, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up.
What are some things that you've learned about yourself in past relationships that you think hinders you from being in a future relationship or that you are still working on?
I love it.
Why do you love this so much?
I love it because it's so bold. Like there's so many people that I talk to are afraid of those like tough conversations. But that's to your point. It's why people spend a good amount of their time ultimately finding they've wasted their time because of the questions and things they were afraid to self-advocate for, to say, to bring up, to ask.
Right. So it's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that don't happen
on that first date.
Yes. And
so the first date might be the most uncomfortable date.
You know what's really crazy?
If we get past date number 1, we probably are on a decline, like on a downhill slope. Not downhill in a negative way,
right.
But meaning the encounters or the questions may become lighter actually. Because on the first date, I wanted to know off the rip, how much of my time are you going to waste or not waste?
Right. A lot of time is being wasted. And it's because someone had brought it up to me before. They was like, people who get in relationships and they're trying to go for vibes and what feels good and, you know, how you make me feel. And that's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
It's not sustainable. You need something that's actually tangible to kind of like work up on. And like, we're not talking... People want to just be in love and like be happy and all that stuff, but we're talking about relationships, partnerships, and that requires working together. Like it's like a level of compatibility, figuring out how can this person help this person, or even if you can't help this person. How do I want to say this? It's like, you know how they say 50-50, but then you also hear people saying, nah, it should be 100-100.
Yes.
It's kind of like...
I agree.
It's like the last conversation we have, allowing that person to be safe in who they are. And it's kind of like you get into a relationship and you don't tell the person that you're with the things you're dealing with, and you don't tell them like the actual stuff that's happening in your life. So you don't... You hide it, or you show them this side, but you don't show them that side. So it's kind of like you fight battles on your own. You're in a relationship and you need to be fighting battles.
So
do you believe in God? Do you pray? That's a question. That's the number one question off the rip.
I gotta have that one. I agree. Okay.
Do you pray?
Ibn, I forgot to ask you, how old are you?
31.
31. What's the question you don't feel comfortable answering on a first date, if any? Is there any subject matter that's off the table on the first date? Like, yo, I just met you. Like, we're not going to talk about that.
At this age in my life, pretty much no. Yeah, I think
anything is pretty fair game.
Yeah, everything's pretty fair game. Like, because I think I take I indulge a lot in doing things that I'm afraid of. So if somebody asks me a question I'm afraid of, I probably with absolute zeal would be ready to answer. Even if I'm afraid of it. Yeah.
I like that.
Because my fear is not for them to hold.
Ooh.
So I have to, if I can seize an opportunity where I can step into that fear, then why not? That's like sort of my motto.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, I love that.
Yeah.
What about you? Can you say that one more time?
What? Which part? What?
The first part.
The whole thing.
I don't know if I can say it the exact same
the
way.
part about the fear where you say your fear is not there.
I said my fear is not for them to hold. So the moment somebody asks me something that I'm afraid to like answer, I like with absolute zeal would take the opportunity to like answer that question because I want to step deeper into that fear.
That's fire.
Yeah. So
I love it. What about you, Q? What's off grounds?
Off grounds.
Yeah. We are not allowing that. We're not talking about that, if anything.
I don't think there is anything I won't talk about. I think I'll touch on everything at least.
So a shorty is on the first date and she like, hey, so what was why did your last relationship end? What was the problem?
That's good.
You comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm
you
comfortable
good?
with that.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Well, since we're on the topic, why did the last relationship end?
This ain't a date. This ain't our first date, man.
But you felt comfortable. I mean, I thought you should step into this opportunity with zeal.
Yeah, that was his response. Why didn't you?
I feel like you should step into the answer with zeal.
Yeah. Once I adopt that philosophy to my life, you got it, bro.
Okay.
Why did your last relationship before your last relationship?
You're not my first date either. In fact, I will cease to have any more first dates. I'm married.
Yes.
My first dates are over. Do you keep the company, Ibn, of the majority of like your circle of friends, other single guys, or married, a blend, or what?
I don't intentionally keep one over the
Well,
other.
I know it's not intentionally, but
I think most of my friends they're either single or they're in a relationship. Or do I have any friends that are married?
I don't know.
Do you have friends?
Do you have?
I'm trying to think. No, this is not.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I have any friends.
Oh my God, I'm alone. Oh boy. No, I'm trying to think. Do I have any friends that are married? No, I don't think I have any friends that are married.
But that's not obviously. You have nothing to do with that. Your friends could have choose to get married when they're not.
No, but I was just thinking about your question. I was just like, do I have any friends that are married? I was like, all my friends are either single or taken or
Okay, they're in a relationship or single.
Yeah,
and that's the same with you too, right, Q? You don't have any.
I have a few friends that are married.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they like newly married or like within the last 5 years?
Within the last 5 years. Within the last 5 years, yes.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, I don't know if we can. No, I actually have friends that have been married longer than 5 years.
Okay.
Six, 7. So,
if you had like
I'm 30 though, so my friends are young still. So
we know. Anyways, I saw what you tried to do there, Keel. It's not gonna work. Another topic. Going through Facebook, social media, the gram. This is actually not even really new. It's something that I've heard before. And you can tell me, cover your ears, folks, for all of my listeners that are underage.
Oh, what we want to talk about?
Are you familiar with the term amongst your circle of other single or married guy friends, whatever? Bros before hoes.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard that phrase.
hate this term.
Have you heard that phrase?
I cannot stand this.
Have you heard the phrase?
Of course I have.
You've heard that phrase.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
The bros before hoes. Well, I mean, you
Bros
being
before
single fellas, I thought maybe you guys would know more insight. But the way I've heard this phrase, one, I don't subscribe to referring to women as hoes, right?
So would you bros before girls?
Bros before hoes.
So would you subscribe to bros before girls?
I think the
outside
sentiment,
of your wife.
Here's what I'm gonna go with, from a married man's perspective, who's been married for the majority of his adult life. The sentiment behind it is right, like this kind of commitment to your male friends, in spite of any committed or serious relationship you might be in. So kind of like, they come first in your relationship. Now, obviously, right, there's the guy who has a serious, intimate partner relationship, right? Like maybe you've been dating certain females, for like, let's say a couple years, right? Do we all agree? Like if you're in a relationship for 2 years, that's pretty serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. You agree?
Anything that I classify as serious is serious to me. And it should be valued the same as somebody else.
It should be valued the same. Okay.
Feels, yeah.
So for you, you don't have in your own kind of like internal barometer, in your mind, you don't say, once I've dated this person for this amount of time, it's serious. Like for you, day one, this is a serious relationship to you.
I think
once you've committed to a person.
Yeah, with my past, with how
I respect that.
with how it has gone and how many people I've met, so many different type of people.
Yeah.
Where time can show you everything, it can show you nothing at all. So if I'm with someone and it's been like 2 years, it's not any. It doesn't have to always be any more serious than if I was with someone for a couple of weeks. Because I've met people where I was with for a couple of weeks where I was just like, wow, this is
serious.
This is everything, right? And I met some people who I've like entertained for some time where it's just like it was serious, but it was like, so
with the vulgarity or rude title aside, the sentiment. Do you relate with that sentiment at all?
Nah, I don't relate to that. Because a lot of times dudes that be saying that are a lot of times that
Q is a trip, yo. I hate the way you just stare blankly.
The dudes that be saying that a lot of the time have very fragile masculinity.
I agree.
Just extremely fragile.
I agree.
It's like
that's a
predicated.
bar.
It's predicated on like
talk to this man.
Pack culture.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like, yo, bros for hoes, man, no matter what, man.
You're afraid to stand alone.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just like, man.
I wonder if women apply to that philosophy.
Yeah.
Not the bros before hoes, but like they're girls before bros because like
kind of sentiment similar, maybe.
Yeah, but like I wonder if women, because I feel like girls got each other's back more than men do.
That's true. I don't know if it rises to the sentiment that's implied to the this whole bro thing, but I will say that. Yeah. I will say in the supportive sense.
Right.
Like I think you'll find a group of female friends definitely showing mutual respect and support for one another on a greater level than.
But it could be comparable to bros before hoes, but like not in the sense that like in the fragile masculinity that he was talking about, but like in the sense that I think the concept of bros before hoes is kind of like that togetherness, like we're brothers, let's be brothers. But the before hoes is kind of like the part where you got to kind of like,
which I think, Ibn had mentioned the whole like pack thing with it, which I think in proper context, there's nothing wrong with that. Like wanting to have a certain brotherhood or pact, even mentality or kind of it's all in context, right? Like so. To what or how well you compartmentalize those things, so for me, like I told my wife earlier today, actually, I was like, you know what, we have like an event this weekend, well, someone's like birthday party that we were invited to, okay, one of our female friends, mutual friends, they have a birthday party, and at that party a bunch of my wife's other female friends are also going to be there, right? So, and it's like, one of those parties that you're going to start at 7:00 and go till, God knows what time, maybe midnight, whatever. Right. Okay. So I told my wife, I said, hey, Friday, we're going to go together to the party, but I'm going to just be there for like a couple hours. And I plan on meeting up with like, some of the guys, just the guys only, we're gonna go bowling.
It's your guys,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, because like it's been like 2 weeks now, I've been like really trying to like get up, like just with like a few guys, like just.
You're gonna invite me
just for for some different
residential neighbors. Can't even get an invite to bowling. That's crazy. Go ahead, continue on. Man. Sorry for interrupting.
Yo, you know what's crazy? You get automatically ruled out of all those things as they pass my brain. No, listen, it's for an intentional reason. Because from the day you told me your work schedule, because this, at least the way it crossed my mind over the last couple of weeks, it was meant to be a daytime thing. And I know you're working at home. So I was trying to do like a 10 a.m. thing.
Who goes bowling at 10? All right, go ahead, continue.
But you got to think, I'm an entrepreneur. I control my whole schedule. Like, so it's like,
goals.
I'm doing whatever the heck I want to do when I want to do it. So I'm like, I've been trying to get with that. I feel like I'm just trying to like, I need some like, bro time, like just be, the fellas only kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that was me like compartmentalizing it. Like it has its appropriate like time and place. It never, ever in any time for me is going to usurp whatever, is necessary for my wife and I to feel, love, mutual, safety and security and compassion in our intimate relationship.
Right.
Ever. Like, ever.
Ever.
I
got
that's
it.
often that's oftentimes when it's been used, though. That's the crazy part. That's why that's why my answer was.
No, definitely. No. For sure. I agree with that. That's definitely when it's mostly been used. But it's at least refreshing to know that you seem to be two, sound-minded, gentlemen, confident in your masculinity, that you don't subscribe to.
I try.
I actually had someone say that to me before.
Say what to you?
So my family knows this story because they make fun of me about it. But like one of my boys, like I was talking to this girl and like, I was giving her attention, I was feeling her. This is in college. I was talking to her. I was feeling her. We was getting to know each other, X, Y, Z. We was just real cool friends. So we started hanging out. And that was my boy from high school. So like, we was cool, whatever. It's my guy. Yeah. It was my guy, But he started to like feel away. And he was like, yo, whatever happened to bros before hoes? I was like, first off, bro.
Yo, whatever happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I was like, first off, anybody that I talk to is not a hoe. Please don't ever disrespect anybody that I talk to like that. But he got him saying like, bros, that's real. Bros before. I'm like, nah, anybody that I talk to, don't ever disrespect them like that in front of me.
That's
it's
crazy.
No.
The bros, what happened to the bros before hoes, bro?
Yeah. Yo, let's just be bros, man. Just tell me what your needs. Like, yo, just tell me what your needs are. Like, just tell me what your needs are as a bro.
Why do we have to put the hoes in there?
Why we gotta put the hoes in there? Like, why do we have to think in that direction at all?
Why must hoes be involved?
This is not going to turn back in our favor.
There are no hoes. There's no hoes.
There are no.
It's just people enjoying.
Don't let people hear you say that, man. Bros before hoes. Don't use that language.
Wow. Nah, that's crazy. No, but it definitely provides insight. I think language is so many times I've realized, just as a human being, like, I think it applies across the board, whether you're, male, female, you find how, revealing people's vocabulary and languages about who they are. And just like Ibn said, something very profound a second ago. I don't know if, the listeners caught it, but he said, leave the hose out of it. Hold it, not that part. That is
like that. He said, Ibn said something very prolific.
He said, leave the hose out of it.
Leave about hose out of it, please. Please, for God's sakes.
That was the prolific? I was like,
not the hose.
I know there's something following this. There has to be
Jesus
something
Christ.
following this.
Not that
Please.
part. The part that followed being, just tell me what your needs are.
Yeah, just tell me what your needs are.
That's a bar, bro. That's fire. But I think we have many of our men, young and old. I was gonna say young men, but I think I've seen it, young and old.
I mean, the young people get it from the old people.
I think we've seen situations where there's such a damaged inside, right? There's so much fracture and hurt and trauma or whatever inside that's not tended to, that's not even, for many, not even realized. They are totally blind to it. They think otherwise. They're fine, right? But the language people use, the way in which they decide to communicate with you, their vocabulary, could be so revealing if you're paying attention. And I think that's like the dual piece to that is the vocabulary, the language choice only becomes as revealing to the extent of the person who's on the receiving end is paying attention, right? You have to be paying attention for it to be revealing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Tell me what your needs are. That's fire to me. Like, could we not just respect or appreciate one another to the extent, but me have the eye to, Ibn could have said something like, what do you mean, bro? Bros before hoes. That's stupid, bro. Get out of my face with that. He could have left it at that. Or he could choose to see the fractured part of his fellow brother, and just go, nah, man, just like, what do you need, bro? Like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to get into today? Right? Like, so instead of mocking my brother or talking down to my brother or even, in a joking way, making them seem like they're ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Instead, I chose a much more insightful, healing vocabulary to offer as my retort in response. And hey, let's see what you offer me with that. Like just tell me what your needs are. But then do we run into a situation where we have fellow brothers that can't even articulate what their needs are?
Ooh, that's that part. That part.
Yeah. And at that point, it's a whole different subject in itself.
Exactly, in itself. But to the extent, but I think those individuals, they get kept in kind of a perpetual, I guess for lack of a better term, otherwise toxic circle of friends, because those of us who would maybe not be toxic but beneficial to them in their circle, we end up being turned off or offended by individuals like that. And then we're like, dang, bro, you can't even articulate what even your need is or what you want. And so we like Evan said before, we put up a certain barrier ourselves, not to, be hurtful or not, to say that we don't want to help that, but almost to kind of protect ourselves, whether you're protecting your sanity, your peace, your whatever, right? And so they kind of are stuck in that perpetual option or pool of, these are the only friends I could kind of keep around, other friends who are equally traumatized, hurt, fractured, and, in dire need of help articulating what's going on the inside of us, just like I am.
Yeah.
That's a whole...
I know that's me for sure. Like I have I'm hoping I could get better to the extent with it so I can have the capacity, not just the capacity, but the strength, the overflow of strength to offer and lend to other brothers, to bring them kind of, not to sound boastful in any way, but bring them up to speed, like a place too where they can operate in life on some even like just mild level of healing or wholeness, like, you know what I mean?
That's a whole task, though.
No, it is. It's very draining. There's a spiritual exchange occurring there for sure. But I think that's what we, that becomes the benefit of having, mentors, right? Or, people who are just, good company, and you vary all in your own different, you're all at different varying spaces in your journey of wholeness. It's my opinion. I don't think any of us, just me personally, my own, faith belief, think any of us will be completely, perfect people. There's something for us to learn as long as we're breathing, in large way. I think that's the point of us still breathing. It's like, right, it's something still for me to discover, right? Still for me to do. So none of us are going to like say, hey, I've completely arrived, right? So the rest of you all catch up to me, right? So hopefully, you're entertaining, people who could be mentors to you, as well as you're looking backwards also. And I don't even like the phrase backwards, right? I kind of like to look at all of us as on like kind of a lateral playing field, but we're just at different points on a straight line.
Right.
But be able to at least look amongst us, one another, with compassion, and to say, hey, I'm willing to offer you something I've taken from this point in my journey. Bring them up to speed. But dang, yeah.
That's needed.
Yeah, even
that is definitely needed.
If I may add to, I think even it's going back to the bros before hoes sort of jargon.
Yo, you really love this term, huh?
It's my first time to bring it back up. I just wanted to bring it back up. Even saying hoes is an omission of a need. Because it has so much to do with.
You said it's an omission?
It's an omission, yeah.
Or admission.
Omission of a
need. Can you explain that?
Break that down for us.
Because a lot of times, because I grew up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? I have a hood in me. It's come out in messy ways. It's come out in sometimes like.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
Whatever. But a lot of time when we're calling, specifically, us as black men, when we're calling like women hoes, there's a lot of resentment there. There's a lot of insecurity there that has not been tackled or properly profiled with a therapist or with ourselves. And so like when we like call someone a name, there's an omission of a need. We're not saying what the need is, whether it be a need to be more secure in ourselves, maybe whether it be a need to, feel more confident about approaching a woman who may have had multiple sex partners, instead of, projecting insecurity by calling her a hoe, just be like, hey, look, I don't have as much experience as you do, and I'm feeling a bit insecure about that.
Yeah,
That's so hard. That's so hard for dudes to say.
Yeah,
that's so hard. We're not culturally taught to do that, because everything, a lot of our pack members, everything is based on like how many notches are on our belts or how much we can dominate the space. And it's like, when you root your whole identity in that, of course it's going to be hard for you to call a woman by her name, and like not by some like derogatory term. If you don't have a culture that supports you in being emotionally sound and literate with yourself. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
I'll never call nobody a hoe. I don't do that. I don't use that jargon. I don't call nobody by a B, whatever. But literally speaking, right? The term hoeing, it's not a fact, but it's a term that means a person that has multiple sexual partners. So if somebody is hoeing,
or are you referring to the actual like maybe more direct term whore?
Right.
So you're saying,
I don't think it's a girl or boy thing. Like I call guys.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, you be hoeing.
So you're referring to like the actual like Webster's dictionary definition of whore.
Right.
And you're like, hey, if we're just looking, assessing this from an objective standpoint, you may fit
that
this
person
definition.
has a lot of partners and they.
Okay.
Well,
I'm listening.
To be that guy back,
I'm listening.
we have to think of what they call connotative linguistics, which has less to do with like the Webster's version of the word, more to do with like what's been associated with the linguistics.
Talk to this man.
What's been associated with the jargon, like on a social scale. So like if on a social scale, predominantly as a culture, hoes are often are within reference to women. Then that is actually the definition it takes on. Nobody, because a lot of the time, a lot of the men that are calling people hoes, we're not like, hold on, right quick, hold on, right quick, bro. Open up this dictionary right quick. Let's see. So what I was trying to, bros before hoes, yeah, there it says right there in the book. This is the, what I'm saying, like that's not happening. Most of the time, there's a cultural association with the word that which all of the men within that pack know. And when they say, yo, man, my bro messing with, I know a couple of hoes down the street, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah,
and oftentimes when we use it, we're not calling our brothers hoes.
I do.
At least not readily, oftentimes.
I must be the...
You don't represent the majority.
I definitely don't represent the majority. So like, I don't fall in that. I don't fall in that.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying this for people who may be listening, just saying like, yo, just express what the need is.
Yeah,
trust me.
I don't be out there like, yo, that hoe said this, that, and the third.
Yeah,
nah, I'm not. That's not me. But when we start talking about it, I be like, yo, you out here.
It's like when
dudes some things out here, bro.
It's like when dudes get upset. This is actually really funny to me. It's not funny, but it is funny. But when some dudes get upset, like they'll be like, "Hey, yo, these females, man."
You know what they really want.
It's going directly by the biology. You don't even like
female.
These females, bruh.
Yeah, man.
You out here.
Listen to me, female.
Yeah.
These females.
When I'm most agitated with my wife, I just use the most vulgar term I could use with her is
baby.
Her mama's name.
Oh yeah, that'll spark something.
I call her by her mom's name, and she's like, "I am not my mother." I'm like, "Hey, you being Ann right now, all right, Ann?"
That's probably one of the. Yeah, that's definitely something you gotta do.
She doesn't like that. She doesn't like that. So, on the Free Lunch podcast, we like to end every episode with something edifying for the soul, like lunch edifies the body. So free lunch, free food for your soul. That's our tagline. So I'll let our guest, Ibn, share with our audience, what would you like to leave them with as the edifying food for their soul to take away from today's episode? And maybe come up to the mic. I think you moved your chair earlier. Feel free to take your time. Take your time. And Q, use this time to be thinking already, because if I get to you and then you're like, I need to take an equal amount of 5 minutes.
Wait, why do I
You're supposed to
have
be thinking, no, it's
he's the guest. I don't even get claps.
No, it's everybody, unless you feel like there's nothing you can follow with what Ibn is dropping.
Your need, specifically to Black and brown people, specifically, your need to do inner child work is not only interpersonal to you, it is a historical endeavor. It is a generational endeavor that you must embark on if you want to save face, not just of yourself, but of the people who come after you. You've been ran through a ringer of absolute systemic castration to disproportionate details. So if you have any chance to go to therapy, if you have any chance to do some mental health work, if you have any chance at all in doing anything that brings you closer to yourself, then do it. Don't be afraid. Don't turn away. Just take a deep breath and do it. That's it.
That was fire. Q, I'm making an executive decision now to not allow you to follow up with anything.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate because in my head, I'm like, I gotta follow that.
Thank you, folks, for tuning in. It's Freestyle Gospel. Free food for your soul, y'all. Peace.
Peace.